Hey everybody, this is Mination and welcome to Modernizing Biz podcast. This show is all about business, marketing, and entrepreneurship, where I interview some of the greatest minds from around the globe who will share their experience with you, and that's how we're gonna help in modernizing your biz for free. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Modernizing Biz podcast. On this episode, we have Deepak Pareek sir on our show. For all of you who don't know him, he's helping out youth in developing their skill set by providing them practical training with the help of his venture Career Keeda. He is three times TEDx speaker, and apart from this, he is also a YouTuber where he creates thought provoking content. Hi sir, how you doing?
Thank you, Minesh, for having me. I'm doing pretty great. Yeah, it's good to be on this podcast. How you doing, man?
I'm also doing great, sir. Tell us a bit about like how you're coping up with this quarantine and everything.
It's actually good. I mean, it's actually going well now. Initially, ऐसा था कि you know I was wanting to go out. I was itching to go outside
Mhm.
and go to office and go to hang out with my friends, spend time with them. But now it's sunk in. The feeling has sunk in. We know that we are at home for a greater cause, and seeing the number of rising cases daily, I think it's better that we all stay inside, stay home, stay safe, stay indoors. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean the quarantine is going pretty well. For a change, I started cooking, which for some reason
Oh my God.
I wasn't cooking earlier. So I started learning how to cook. I made lasagna, uh,
Okay.
which turned out to be very good. Surprisingly, I wasn't expecting
Mhm.
a good dish from my end, but it turned out
Yeah.
well. Also, I've been productively utilizing this quarantine period. Uh, I've been I've started this series on my Instagram called Getting Candid, where I'm
Mhm.
having candid, inspiring conversations with people from various walks of life.
Okay.
So yeah, it's going pretty well now.
That's amazing, sir. So, sir, tell us a little bit about your journey till this date, how and why you have built your own organization, Career Kida.
So it started back in from the time when I was in class 12.
Okay.
I did not know what to do. Like every other kid who did not know what to do in life,
Mhm.
I was exactly that same kid. I did not know
Mhm.
what to pursue. Commerce. I'm a commerce student. So
Okay.
now when you're in school, and when you enter the and when you enter college, uh,
Yeah.
there are very safe and same options available for everybody. If you are from commerce,
Mhm.
people will tell you यार CA कर लो और CFA कर लो, और अगर ये दोनों अगर नहीं वर्क करता है, थर्ड ईयर में जाके people start doing their MBA.
MBA.
I'm not
Exactly, sir.
I'm not
Totally
saying
agree with this.
I'm not saying that all these are wrong options, but this
Mhm.
is supposed to be seen as the safest option. Um,
Yeah.
so similarly, I when I entered college, I saw that there was this huge rush among everybody.
Mhm.
Everybody was in some sort of a hurry to achieve what they wanted to achieve. In
Mhm.
my class of 70 people, more than 90% of the people were doing CA. So I did
Oh
my
my God.
BCom honors from St. Xavier's College, Calcutta. And
Okay.
in my class of 70 people, more than 90% or more than 80% of the I mean, majority of the people were doing CA alongside BCom. And
Mhm.
that struck me. I was like, is this the only correct option available in front of me? Why is
Mhm.
because the majority of people are doing this. So is this the only correct option available in front of me? Because you tend to follow. You're young when you're in college, right? You're
Yeah.
18 years of age or 17 years of age.
Mhm.
So your mind doesn't work in practical ways. You think that कि अरे यार अगर जो बाकी लोग कर रहे हैं वही सही होगा, so let's start doing that, right?
Exactly.
So
This.
I unfortunately fell into the rat race. I
Mhm.
was trapped into that rat race. I started doing CA. I cleared my CPT. Fortunately or
Okay.
unfortunately, I don't know. I cleared my CPT, and then I went on to appear for my IPCC. um,
Okay.
but eventually I gave multiple attempts. I gave two attempts for my group one,
Mhm.
but I cleared group one. But ultimately I realized
Mhm.
that this is not for me. It took a lot of convincing at home that I don't want to do continue with this, because this is not something that I'm
Mhm.
meant for. And I thought that if I utilize and if I channelize my energy into something more productive, it would
Mhm.
definitely be much more beneficial for me and for people who are at home. So even they should not feel that I'm wasting my time, right?
Yeah.
So the journey began from there. Journey began from from college first year. um,
Mhm.
Everybody started doing CA, so I thought that's the only right option available in front of me. So one lesson that I'd like to bring here is choose your friends or choose your environment wisely. Because
Okay.
what happens is when you're in college, you meet a completely different set of people. You will meet people
Mhm.
who will tell you x number of things, who will tell you y number of things. You have to decide what is best for you. If you so
Yeah.
so the second thing is take your own time. You do not have to hurry. You do not have to, if ऐसा नहीं है कि आप फर्स्ट ईयर में आए और आपको आप करियर के बारे में चिंता करनी है. नो, टेक योर टाइम, ट्राई आउट अ zillion different things, and then find out what you're good at.
Mhm.
This is not what I did when I was in
Okay.
college. Big mistake. I did not do that.
Nice, sir. So, sir, are you also bookworm at that particular period because you have observed yourself, right? Like when you wanted to jump into the
Mm,
CA or
I'm
chartered accountant field.
I was not a bookworm. To be very honest, I was not a bookworm. I was an average student. Like I
Okay.
was. So it's the 590, 590 and 5 rule, right? I mean, 5% of the people will be top. So essentially the top 5 will be
Mhm.
the cream. They'll top the class, they'll top the
Yeah.
college. 90%
Mhm.
will fall in the is the majority, which is the middle layer, which are average
Yeah.
students. And the other top, the below 5, bottom 5 will be those who are not good at academics, which is completely all right. Right. So
Okay.
like everybody else, like the majority, I was a part of the majority. I was an average student. But I thought, let's start with CA because of the environment I was in, not because I wanted to
Mhm.
do, or I did not want to do. I was just in that kind of environment where I did not get time to think about what I wanted to do. I thought, yeah, everybody else is doing the same thing, so why not jump in and do the same thing? So this
Yeah.
is
It
one.
often like fear of missing out will also get inside your head at that particular time.
Yeah, probably. Like a lot of people, you might think that a lot of people are partying and chilling and spending time with their friends. So
Mhm.
you get that FOMO.
Yeah.
You're like, "Arey yaar,
Yeah.
I'm to sitting at home and studying, or I'm going to tuitions, and they are chilling and they are partying and everything." Right. So that struck me. I was like कि अरे यार नहीं, इसको ठीक करना पड़ेगा. So initially, so the journey begins from here. College first year, started doing CA, didn't want to do it.
Okay.
Took some time off. In college second
Mhm.
year, I attend this award function in my city, Calcutta. Happened to meet my now co-founder. Luckily, I did not know him from early on. I luckily happened to meet him at the award
Okay.
function. He was basically discussing this idea with my dad, who because he was
Mhm.
working under him. So he was basically discussing this idea uh,
Okay.
in front of him as to what can be done and everything. So I happened to just chance on and listen to this conversation very deeply.
Okay.
And what happened is I
Mhm.
then had this conversation with my now co-founder, and I was like, "Are you search? Do you have a co-founder?" He said, "No, I'm looking for one." He said, "Bang on! Why not? Let's why not I jump in
Okay.
and let's do this together." So he was like, I
Mhm.
mean, what he said, what can you bring to the table?
Fabulous.
Of course, when you're building a product, when you're building a company, uh, and if there are two partners, three partners, or four
Yeah.
partners, or even one partner, you need to see what the other person can bring to the table. Why will he
Mhm.
uh, why will he get you on board for his venture? He's not doing some charity, right? He's building a business. He's building a product which needs to sell.
Mhm.
So what can I bring to the table? So we discussed. We had a long brainstorming
Okay.
session, 2 days, 5 days, weeks, months, and then we finally decided to jump on and start this business together. Uh, Again, so second year this happened. By the time I was building this, again, because I was still in college, there were people who told me कि अरे यार तुम्हारा खुद का career sorted नहीं है, why are you trying and uh, why are
Mhm.
you going out in colleges and schools? Yeah, why are you going out to colleges
Starting
and
this
schools and
type of
giving
this.
career counseling
Yeah.
sessions or leadership development sessions or personality development sessions and whatnot? So, and because you're young,
Okay.
because you're 18, 19 years of age, sometimes it gets to you. Sometimes you start introspecting. Sometimes you think that whether what you're doing is correct or not. You start questioning yourself. But that's the
Mhm.
point where you need good
Okay.
friends.
Yeah.
You need that positive environment around yourself, and you need to weigh down your options very practically. You need to decide that, okay, so fine, I'm
Yeah.
18 years of age. I'll start my business at 18. I'll spend 3 years to it. I'll give 3 years to it. If it doesn't work out,
Mhm.
then what's the next best practical approach to it? What's the opportunity cost that I'm suffering?
Okay. So, sir, did you drop out of the college at that particular time?
Absolutely not, man. Absolutely not. I didn't drop out. Are you mad? This is like the worst thing. If you because of this, if you drop out of college,
Yeah.
you're left with nothing.
Exactly.
So I don't. Yeah. So you should never, never, never drop out of college. I know that you now that if you give me examples like Mark Zuckerberg dropped out of
Mhm.
college, or XYZ people dropped out of college. That's okay. That's like 0.00001% of the people who dropped out and still made it big.
And sir, I think like they have whole figure it out in their vision. So that's why they drop out of the college because they have their life figured out at that particular point of time. They are not in the initial phase.
Probably yes, probably not. Like probably yes, probably
Mhm.
not. Like I would agree and disagree.
Okay.
Agree to a point that probably they could have figured it out by then. Like absolutely, why not? That there is a possibility that they could have figured it out.
Mhm.
But disagree to the extent that they thought, because I'm building this. Like how, like what if it doesn't succeed? Like even this thought could have triggered their mind.
Yeah.
Like if you listen to this, if you listen to Mark Zuckerberg's story, if you hear Mark Zuckerberg's story,
Mhm.
he started building Facebook through his dorm.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then and then when he had more founders believe in his vision.
Mhm.
So his vision was basically to connect all the college students together
Yeah.
on one
Mhm.
platform. Little did he know that one day Facebook is going to connect the entire globe on one platform.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, so it starts with small steps, it starts with baby steps. But then when you believe in your idea, when you believe in your vision, it ultimately takes a greater form.
Mhm.
And you will not realize that because you are focusing on baby steps.
Okay. Yeah.
Right, so small, when you keep on doing those small steps repeatedly, consistently, only then you realize what you've built, like from where you've come. So you've started from zero, now you're here.
Yeah. So, sir, what you're doing with Career Kida, what you're bringing like in the impact of the youth?
Okay, so Career Keeda basically, by the name suggests, as the name suggests, Career Keeda is basically, so my partner is a career का कीड़ा.
Hmm.
ठीक है, मेरे पार्टनर को करियर का कीड़ा था. This firstly, this name has a very funny
Okay.
story. um, my partner said, सबको किसी ना किसी का कीड़ा
Yeah.
होता है. uh, why not have the career ka kida under us? Why not ignite that career ka kida among students, among college students, and ignite that fire among them,
Mhm.
that let's spread awareness about out of the box career options. Let's spread awareness about, say, different unorthodox career
Mhm.
options like DJing or like RJing. Like let's talk about the practical aspects
Yeah.
of things.
Okay.
And then we found that, okay, so career kida is something that this suits the name, suits the brand
Mhm.
perfectly. So we went ahead with that name. Coming to the point as to what career kida does. Career Kida basically is a youth oriented organization which focuses on practical training and skill development.
Mhm.
So essentially, if you are a CA student, chartered accountant student, or a company secretary student, or a BCom student, or a BBA student, or an LLB student,
Mhm.
right now we're focusing only on commerce background. So if you are a student of any commerce field, we provide the basics of the practical curriculum.
Mhm.
Now I'll break this down for you and for the audience who's listening. Essentially, if you are doing CA, CS, BCom, LLB, or any other commerce related degree, what happens is you take tuitions. what's the career progression in all these courses? You take tuitions, you pass the exam, you get the degree.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, you don't have the practical exposure that's required to work after you get that degree.
Yeah, I agree with this.
So, right, a lot of people, now you might give me an argument that for CA student there is articleship, or for CA student there is management training.
Mhm.
Agreed, but what happens is a lot of people don't undergo their articleship or miss out on their articleship for XYZ reasons.
Mhm.
This course, or this particular course that we are providing for these students, will help you gain that practical exposure, and will help the employer save his training time. So what I mean by this is, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Suppose there are two students.
Mhm.
Student A has excellent marks, has above 90% marks throughout school, throughout college, throughout his professional degree, but does not have any kind of practical exposure.
Mhm. Yeah.
And assume you are the employer, right?
Okay.
Assume Minesh Jain is the employer
Mhm.
and I am the employee. So I am student A who has excellent marks
Mhm.
throughout school, college, and his professional degree.
Okay.
Student B has average marks, 60, 65, 70, but has practical exposure, knows the basic practical working of that particular degree.
Mhm.
Whom will you recruit? Student A or student B?
Student B, of course, like
Absolutely. And what reason do you give? Why is it that you choose student B?
we not need to spend a lot of time and money on
Correct.
developing them, on training them, and they can even provide us some more results because they know how the practically things work.
Absolutely. So we thought that, why not create a course for commerce students, wherein we teach them the basics of the practical curriculum, and which has two benefits. A, he learns the basics of the practical curriculum, so he stands out among his peers. Those the other students do not have this practical exposure, so he stands out among them.
Mhm.
And two, from the employer's point of view, when the any employer you will intern with or work with has to train you for like 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months down the line कि तुम्हारा काम क्या होने
Mhm.
वाला है exactly. That time, that
Yeah.
employer's time is saved, so you don't have to focus on that, right? So that then we
Okay.
thought, why not build this product, and why not approach colleges, approach institutes wherein we can sell these courses. So after college, this happened. So while in college I was working on this startup, I was working on Career Keeda. um, we got a lot
Mhm.
of traction initially. We saw a lot of ups and
Okay.
downs
Yeah.
during our journey. After college, I started with content creation 2 years
Mhm.
back. It's almost 2 years. I started on 4th of August 2018. So it's almost 2 years now.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's almost two
Yeah.
years now. And yeah, things are going well. We've seen a lot of ups and downs. We've seen a lot of downs. We've seen a lot of failures. We've seen a lot of successes as well.
Mhm.
So yeah, things are
Yeah.
going good at this point in time.
So, even I am consuming your content like from past few months,
Okay.
and whether it's coming from Instagram, LinkedIn, or YouTube, and I know you're into this field from a long time back because I like that experience is highlighted in your work. Okay, so I just want to know one thing: is there any point in your life when you're into the early phase of content creation? Is there any situation where is something stopping you from putting out more content? There is something stopping you to doing more, like to posting more photos, more posting more videos. Is there any point of time?
So I keep on talking about content, and I keep on talking about to aspiring content creators a lot of times. I've been doing these live sessions for quite some time now, and these questions are very common to me. So this is how I answer this question. Uh, Essentially, why
Mhm.
have you started uh, creating content is the first question that you need to ask yourself, right?
Okay.
If you so and in this field, I follow Gary Vaynerchuk. If you've heard of Gary V,
Yeah,
so
man.
so I call him Guruji in all my posts, in my LinkedIn post, in my Facebook post, in my Instagram
Exactly.
post. I call him Guruji, and I'm an absolute fan. Like, if you talk, even if you talk, tell me to talk like him, I can do that, right?
Yeah, let's do this. Let's do this for 1 second because I'm also a big fan of him, and I also treat him as a mentor of me.
You gotta ask me a question like in that accent, and I'm gonna like answer that part in say in like 30 seconds as to how he talks. Go ahead, shoot your question in that accent.
Okay. Mm,
Okay.
so why you're not putting more content?
See, bro, you gotta post more content, bro. You gotta post more content. Number one reason why you're not posting content is because you fear. And my friends, this thing that you have right beside you inside your pocket, your
Yeah.
mobile phone, your cell phone, this is the number one asset right now. Post more and more content. What's stopping
Okay.
you? So right, I'm probably not bang on, but this is probably how.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Bro, I was born in
Okay.
the former Soviet Union. Then I was born in Russia. Then now, which is now called Russia. Then went to was in my family business till 34 years of age. Built my wine company. Uh, my valuation $3 million to $60 million. Then left it, and I started at 34. So if I can start at 34, you're young, bro.
That's really amazing, mind blowing. Even I'm consuming his content from a long time back, and
Right.
trust me, it's amazing.
Right. So coming back to the question, for the audience might feel that
It's going off track.
we've drifted
Yeah.
apart from the question. Yeah. So coming back to the question, I think what stop. This is one thing that I've been telling my audience as well as to why what motivates me to create more and more content. And your question was what stops me from. I mean, has there any moment that has stopped me from
Mhm.
creating more content? And so the answer to that is figure out your
Okay.
why. Read this interesting book called Start with Why by Simon
Okay.
Sinek, and he will tell you to focus on one thing called why. Figure out your why before your how and the what.
Cool.
Figure out your why. Why do you want to create more content? Why do you want to uh, create videos? Why do you want to create your why do you want to post more photos? Why do you want to post more podcasts? Like, what's your why? What's your motivation? What drives you to create more and more content? If that is clear, the other the subsequent things will
Okay.
follow, right? And it has happened a lot of times. Like I've posted a video, and after 2 days I see that only 10 people have viewed
Mhm.
my content, and that's absolutely
Mhm.
okay, because when you start from zero.
Yeah.
When Sachin Tendulkar plays, or when Virat Kohli plays, or when anybody plays for that matter, they don't start with 50 runs beside their name. They start with zero, right?
Zero. Exactly.
So people will, as soon as you become more and more consistent with your content. So with regard to content, it's fairly simple. One, you need to be relatable.
Mhm.
Your content should relate to people on a more personal level, and that is when people will share their content. That is when people will essentially post more and more of your content.
Okay.
They'll fall in love with you. And second, you need to be more consistent, because like you, there are a lot of content creators out there,
Yeah.
and the memory of, I was speaking to Viraj Ghilani from Filter Copy,
Mhm.
and he said this one very interesting thing, which said the memory of people on the internet is very short lived. So you have to post more and more content daily. Try and post at least one piece of content. I mean, one piece of content on your feed daily.
Okay.
If it's a post, if it's a video, if it's a photo, if it's an article, if it's a blog piece, if it's a podcast, anything. But
Mhm.
you have to post more and more content so that people know that you are serious with this, and they know that you can provide value. So either make them laugh, make them cry,
Mhm.
entertain them, or teach them something,
Okay.
right? And that is how people start following you. That is how people you build this brand around yourself. So a lot of times things have stopped me from creating what I do. But my bigger perspective, and I'm clear with my long term vision as to why I'm creating and what I want to do, and that doesn't stop me from creating more and more content. Views are fluctuating.
Mhm.
Some videos I get 2,000 views, some video I get 20,000 views, some videos I get 2 views.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
have to try and experiment.
Okay, and we even observe that a lot of time that people who are starting out into the field of content creation, they are dealing with some sort of fear that there's something that's stopping them from doing more. That you the point that
Hmm.
you have touched. So how they can cope up in their initial phase, their fear, like what people will think about me, what they will think if I
this
post
is
this.
this is like the most important problem everybody is facing
Yeah.
at all times. कि
Mhm.
लोग क्या कहेंगे वाला problem जो है.
Exactly.
I think this is so anybody. So essentially, there are two kinds of fears that stops people from creating more and more content.
Mhm.
One is the fear of criticism, and the other is the fear of failure.
Okay.
uh, a fear of failure because what if the thing that you start with doesn't convert into a successful product or a venture.
Mhm.
Number one. Number two, fear of criticism. What if the thing that I'm creating is not accepted well by people.
Yeah.
You need to understand the difference between the two. And uh, and that this authenticity, this genuinity will not come like with a click.
Mhm.
You have to post, you have to be consistent, and you have to be patient. As Gary Vee says, you have to be patient.
Yeah, you need
A
to
lot
be
of people
very.
come to him and tell him that, I've been posting more and more content, but I'm not getting traction. And
Yeah.
what's the one thing that he tells them? For how long have you been doing this? How many posts do you have on your Instagram? How many videos have you created? How many articles have you written? And they tell them, I've written 5 articles. do you expect do you expect an audience to follow you because of 5 articles?
No, this will not get
Absolutely
done.
not. Like, I'm not. So here comes the drift. I'm not talking about quality versus quantity here. Of
Mhm.
course, I'm not saying that even if there are 5 articles, people can follow you. Absolutely correct. But you need to understand one thing: when you're starting out, you have to build a bank. You have to build a content bank for yourself. If you're putting out pieces of content daily, you have 365 pieces of content a year,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So you have to build a content bank for people to see. You see that, you've got 2 pieces of content, and
Mhm.
fortunately or unfortunately, that is not the best piece of content for you, and you know that
Yeah.
down your heart. You know that this is not the best piece of content I am creating.
Mhm.
But people are judging you on those 2 pieces of content, mind you.
Yeah, this
when
happened.
when somebody who doesn't know Virat Kohli sees him for the first time and he gets duck out, what's the impression that he has of him? That he's not a good player. यार क्या यार इतना जल्दी out हो गया,
Mhm.
right? But when you keep on, scoring runs, when you build that genuinity, when you build that bank, when you build that, what do I say, authenticity with your audience, they
Mhm.
know that you will not disappoint them. So I
Okay.
think these two fears stops people from creating more and more content. I think log kya kahenge is a major problem in India.
Yeah.
You are doing CA, you are not doing CA. The other person is clearing, is getting exemption in almost all subjects. People start comparing you. अरे यार इसका तो exemption है, ये तो fail हो गया,
Yeah, this
right?
happened a lot.
But you have to understand one thing: what are you made of, and what do you love the most?
Mhm.
There's a very interesting concept called Aikigai. I don't know if you've heard of this. It's a Japanese concept. It's
Mhm.
called Aikigai, Ikigai, which means that what you love. So there are 3 to 4 aspects related to this. What you love doing the most.
Okay.
What's the opportunity that's there outside in the market?
Mhm.
What you are good at, and what you can be paid for. So there are four things. What you love. It could be cricket. It could be music. It could be dance. It could be acting. It could be singing. It could be anything.
Yeah.
So what you love. Second, what you're good at.
Mhm.
Now I love singing, but I'm not good at it,
Yeah.
right? So what you love, what you're good at. Number two. Number three, what you can be paid for. What
Mhm.
can you be paid for? I mean, if you are good at singing, and you're not singing and you're doing something else, do you
Yeah.
think you can be paid for something you're not good at?
Never.
Never. Absolutely. And the fourth thing is what the world needs. There has to be a market for it outside in the world. You
Mhm.
cannot be like कि अरे मेरे को तो सिंगिंग आता है, मैं सिंगिंग करूंगा, बट मार्केट ही नहीं है सिंगिंग के लिए, right? There is no audience who wants to consume my whatever I want to do. So
Yeah.
the so you have to find your ikigai. You have to find out what interests you the most, and at the same time, is there a market in the world that will
Mhm.
consume what you are creating?
Okay.
So I
So
think this solves the major problem for creators.
cool. And I've got this one more thing into the conversation that we have observed a lot of time that ones who are in the field of digital content creation, they often lose their track from their niche. This might happen because they have observed that the you point you have touched, that they have observed that there is not a market in this particular field in
Correct.
short term. In short, I'm not talking about the macro market, but in
Correct.
micro, they observe that there's no money in this particular field, and sometimes they
Right.
often lose their originality. They lose their why they have started, and they jump into the other field and start creating content after, like,
Hmm.
just looking at the market. So how one
Right.
can ensure that they stay in their lane, they do the things that they genuinely want to do.
So again, as I mentioned, figure out your why. Like why did you start? Why do you want to create content? Figure out your why is the biggest takeaway anybody can take from this podcast. Figure out your why. Like why do you want to do what you're doing? I'm not
Okay.
saying only in terms of content. I'm saying in terms of anything that you're doing in life.
Okay.
Why are you doing what you want to do? Do you want to earn money? Great. Do you want to get fame? Great. Your reason, your motive needs to be very clear as to why you're doing this. And
Mhm.
secondly, is there a market for it? So I think what matters more is you need to be genuine with regard to this question. If I answer this question specifically as to how one can stay in their lane and focus on their originality, a lot
Mhm.
of times what happens is that you are creating more and more content, but people are not liking it. So you start imitating others. So you start copying others. You start talking in their style,
Yeah.
or probably you start imitating their content style. You
Mhm.
start their using their same language as they do, right?
Yeah.
But you have to realize this one thing, that the audience every time wants something new out of you. People will not follow you because you are the next Virat Kohli or the next Sachin Tendulkar. People will follow you because you're the first Minesh Jain or the first Deepak Pareek who's out there,
Cool.
right?
Yeah.
There is somebody. There is, and the best part about is there is no one who's like you. That's the best part.
Okay.
There is nobody else in the world who's like you,
This hits me like hell, literally.
right? So this is the best part about it, that nobody else can be like you, because everybody is unique. Everybody has their own that has their own style, has their own way of speaking, has their own way of making their point reach to the end consumer. Everybody has their own style, and nobody can even try and copy that. So you would like to see a unique you rather than a copied version of somebody else.
Okay.
Think of it as a consumer ना, मतलब तुम
Yeah.
consumer के हिसाब से सोचो कि अगर if you start creating more and more content like anybody else,
Yeah.
लोग क्या बोलेंगे कि अरे यार ये तो कॉपी कर रहा है.
And why would they listen to
Absolutely, like
me
why would they
for?
listen to anybody who's copying a style, somebody's style? Like
Mhm.
absolutely not. So even if you're not good at it, like skill enhancement का बात पे बाद में आते हैं. Like
Mhm.
if you think that you're not good at it and that is why you are copying somebody, then your perspective needs to change, your mind frame needs to change.
Okay.
तुम उसके लिए skill पे work करो ना. Like try and so this is what happened when I learned how to speak in public. I was never a speaker
Mhm.
back in school. I
Yeah.
was never a speaker. I was very afraid of the stage.
Okay.
Um, but then this one event happened at school, and I volunteered for it. And I thought that let's break this fear, let's break this inhibition. I want to host this event. So I walk up to my teacher and I said that ma'am, I want to host this. Can I do that? She said, do you have any prior experience? I said no. Like I want to try this out. I'm very scared of it, and I want to fight the fear. She
Okay.
said, cool. I'm giving you a chance. Don't mess it up. Uh, for somebody like me who's never spoken on stage,
Mhm.
and if I hear something like "don't mess it up,"
You'll be like,
I've already messed it up. Okay,
yeah. So
so
what happened at the end
so
then?
okay, so I go up to the stage. My hands are trembling, my feet are shaking. I'm not able to speak in front of the audience, and I was hosting this in school. So there are 500 people, students sitting in front of me,
Mhm.
and I completely mess it up.
Oh
I
my God.
completely mess it up. At the end of the event, I'm almost in tears. I
Okay.
walk up to my teacher and I tell her that, sorry, ma'am, I screwed this up. Obviously, not in this language,
Yeah.
but sorry, ma'am, I messed this up. I mean, this won't happen again. She said, that's okay. It's completely fine. This was your first time and you did well. Keep on continuing this.
Mhm.
So for me, if I go and copy somebody, if I go and imitate someone else's style, people will not follow me. But even if I make mistakes and I
Yeah,
stick to my own style, people will follow you.
that will be
And
completely
for
okay
one
then.
own and for the only reason that you are genuine and you're authentic.
Mhm.
That's it.
And
And people love you. People will love your candid style. Like, trust me.
okay. And do you feel this type of fear once again when you got the opportunity to give your first TED talk?
Absolutely, man. Like, I had a lot of jitters in my mind and in my stomach. कि यार कि कैसे होगा, क्या होगा?
Hmm.
And so I was giving this TED in Ahmedabad,
Okay.
and I had to travel from Calcutta to Ahmedabad, and I was in my flight to Ahmedabad. I was thinking कि अरे यार, I don't want to screw this up. Like, I was getting all those memories back. यार मैंने पहला event मैंने screw up कर दिया था.
Hmm.
College में भी I had like messed up something. So I didn't want to mess this up because this is big. Like, I
Yeah.
want to make full use of this.
Okay.
So I was having this jitters in my mind कि अरे यार क्या कैसा होगा. I prepared for it. Like, I had absolutely prepared the entire speech. Um, so one very unique thing about, like, I feel about me is I don't memorize the entire speech. Like,
Okay.
I don't memorize everything. I have pointers in my mind, and I have stories to tell.
Hmm.
So that way it becomes a little more interesting, a little more interactive.
Yeah.
So I had pointers. I had prepared a presentation. I had pointers written there, and I
Hmm.
had a story back in my mind. So I remember, as just before I walk up on stage, I was backstage. I was talking to my other fellow speakers. So this one speaker of mine, I asked him कि यार कैसा गया? He said पता नहीं यार बस बोल दिया. And that scared me even more. अरे
Yeah.
यार, he's saying अरे ऐसे बस जाके बोल दिया. I mean, what do you mean? I've had sleepless nights before the talk, and you're saying बस जाके बोल दिया.
if
But
he
anyway, anyhow,
if he told you ना like I've killed it like मैंने तो बहुत अच्छे से दिया, you'll be like super pumped
that
up.
would have been like that would have no, but that would have created added pressure. कि अरे यार ये तो
Okay.
बहुत अच्छा बोल दिया. Now, how would I speak?
Okay.
Right? So
Yeah.
so I thought कि अरे यार चलो ठीक है, कोई नहीं. So I ठीक है, जो भी है, whatever. I tried to calm myself down. I was like, ठीक है, अच्छा होगा. And this self talk is very important. Like, what do you tell yourself?
Hmm.
That's more important. So I thought कि यार नहीं, कोई नहीं, अच्छा होगा. No, don't worry, everything's gonna be well. I walk up on the stage. I start my presentation, and obviously the audience lights are dim, so I cannot see anybody.
Okay.
ठीक
Yeah.
है?
Hmm.
So the spotlight is on me, on that red circle,
Yeah.
and I cannot see my audience. So I
Hmm.
thought, चलो एक fear तो खत्म है. I'm not able to see the audience
Anyone.
because ठीक है, तो obviously, like, the biggest of the biggest speakers have this public speaking of fear. Like, trust me on
Hmm.
this.
Yeah. This
You can
happens.
never be fully free of that public speaking fear.
Hmm.
So I start my speech. Luckily, the entire talk goes well. You have an 18-minute deadline. I finish my talk in 14 minutes.
Hmm.
I end the talk. I get a good applause from it. And backstage, people come up to me and tell me, "You were good. You were fantastic. We loved your talk." And that's how it was. So I think initial jitters हमेशा रहता है. I think if you start
Uh-huh.
creating, if you walk up to the stage and start speaking more and more, I think it comes with practice.
Hmm.
For anybody who wants to improve their public speaking skills, they can do this. One, they could speak in front of the mirror. They
Mirror.
could read an newspaper article, or they could probably read an article from the internet, or they
Hmm.
could read anything. Just read it out and stand in front of the mirror and read it. Second, record the entire speech so that you
Okay.
know where you're messing things up, and then try and improve on that in the coming days. So I think this is very important. So luckily, like, obviously I had jitters, but
Hmm.
luckily it went well. uh, Without a doubt, it went well, and it went absolutely fine, and I'm super proud of it.
Awesome, sir. Awesome. And how you feel like when you gave your third talk?
Okay. So this happened in November. This happened in November last year, November 2019.
Okay.
uh, this happened in Bangalore.
Hmm.
And so what happened is, I was speaking on a very important topic. I was speaking on the topic on the topic that I create all my videos on, which is busting myths and building an India free of stereotypes. This was my topic.
Oh my
And
God.
when I started when I started preparing,
Mhm.
I thought कि यार ठीक है, अब टॉपिक बोल दिया है कि इस पे बात करूंगा तो अब होगा दिमाग में, लेकिन I didn't have an entire speech ready.
Yeah.
So when I was researching, it was very difficult for me to research on this topic because there are a lot of myths and stereotypes in India. Like
Mhm.
how many can I bust in this 18-minute talk?
Yeah.
And so I thought how to go about this process, like कैसे करना है, क्या करना है. But eventually, I spoke to my partner, I spoke to my friends, and I asked them कि
Mhm.
how do I go about it? What can I include in my talks? They gave me some ideas. So the number one thing that I do is I don't Google at first.
Okay.
I think what can be included in this topic. Then I talk to my friends. Then I talk to my
Mhm.
people around me, which is essentially anybody at office or anybody at home or anybody from my friend circle. I get ideas from them.
Mhm.
And thirdly, I go Google, obviously, because I need facts, I need data.
Yeah.
So then I Google and then I get more information on it. Luckily, that also went super well.
Mhm.
Um, but there was actually a glitch, not in my talk, in my fellow speakers' talk. There was load shedding, the lights went off,
Oh my God.
there was power cut. So
Yeah.
luckily that didn't happen during my talk,
Mhm.
but it happened with one of my fellow speakers talk. But luckily he handled it super well. He was very positive, he was very calm. He handled it super well, and
Mhm.
I think that's the sign of a good speaker, that he doesn't fret, he doesn't get scared at these
Yeah.
troubling times. So I
Mhm.
think that also went super well. I was very nervous. Again, this was in Bangalore, so I was very nervous कि यार कैसा जाएगा, कैसा होगा, and everything. But
Mhm.
that self talk helped me, boost my morale, and I was like, okay, good to go.
So did you get that public fear again on your third talk?
Yes, definitely. Like that's always there. Like even if I step up on stage right now and go and speak, I will get that initial fear. And वो
Okay.
रहेगा. Like even if you practice daily, वो
Mhm.
रहेगा, वो हमेशा ही रहेगा. Like you cannot, nobody is perfect in what they're doing, but you
Okay.
can be very good at what you're doing. Like there's a difference,
Mhm.
right? So I strive to be very good at what I'm doing. I may not be the perfect person, but I will be very good at what I'm doing, and that is what I strive for. ठीक
Yeah.
है, तो ये हुआ था, and I thought
Uh-huh.
that I knew that I didn't want to mess this up. I had this self talk with myself कि यार यार मेरे को करना है, मेरे को अच्छा करना है, मेरे को अच्छा करना है, मेरे को अच्छा करना है. And
Mhm.
that is why things went on well.
Okay.
And finally, when it got over, I was like, finally, damn, it's over. It was great. I got this applause. After the talk, people come up to me and tell me that it was a brilliant talk. We had fun. We laughed. It was something to think about, and I'm
Mhm.
glad we invited you to this talk. So I
Mind
was
blowing,
like,
sir.
fine,
Mind blowing. And sir,
great.
at last, I wanted to ask one more thing. If you can give a best advice, like one piece of advice to all those budding digital creators in the world, what would it be?
Two pieces of advice, again taken, highly inspired by two very inspirational people in my
Mhm.
life. One is, regret is
Yeah.
poison, said by none other than Guruji
Yeah.
Gary Vaynerchuk. Second is trust the process, and I heard this line by MS
Mhm.
Dhoni, where he was addressing the youth at a particular gathering.
Mhm.
So these two pieces of advice, super important, super valuable. Regret is poison. I think what you need to do, if you don't do it at the right time, it'll hit you back later. You feel कि अरे यार मैं पहले क्यों नहीं किया ये चीज, and that is poison. That will hit you so bad in ways more than one you will not imagine.
Okay.
It'll hit you'll think like अरे यार मैंने क्यों नहीं किया ये पहले, मेरे को पहले कर लेना चाहिए था. And you don't want that feeling. So you do what you love, either as a side hustle or as a full-time job, but do something you love so that you don't have regrets later. And second is trust the process. I heard this line from MS Dhoni for the
Yeah.
first time, at a gathering where he was, I mean, I didn't hear him live, but I was hearing him on YouTube, and he was addressing a gathering of like young people, and he mentioned that trust the
Mhm.
process, trust what you're doing. Your journey needs to be fantastic. Your journey needs to be worth remembering. Outcome doesn't matter. You fail, you succeed. That's the secondary phase of
Mhm.
things. But first, you need to enjoy what you're doing. If you enjoy what you're doing, then you will eventually find out a way to make it successful.
Okay.
So I think these two pieces of advice is what I give to anybody, not only creators, but to entrepreneurs, to students, to anybody to podcasters
Yeah.
like you who might feel demotivated after a particular podcast doesn't go well, probably, or for
Mhm.
any other reason. So yeah, I think.
Yeah, this happens a lot. Like I've till now I've uploaded around 7, 8
Mhm.
episodes. Third episode is what is my first guest episode. So I
Mhm.
feel like this didn't go in a right direction that I wanted to.
Mhm.
So initially I uploaded, I deleted it, then I re-uploaded. Then I think let's do this. Who
Okay.
cares?
Absolutely, man. Like it's not gonna matter when you will think about it twice, you will think about it thrice, but ultimately, when you become good at it, you will not think about it. You will laugh after you think about this. Kya re yaar,
Yeah,
I was worrying about this.
इतनी
Like,
छोटी बात पे पहले
like
ये कर
exactly,
रहा था.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
Right.
thank you so much, sir. That's it from my end. If you wanna add anything, you can even go ahead. Sir, it would be great if you can share your Instagram handle, LinkedIn handle, and YouTube channel. So, like my listeners would definitely wanted to get connect with you, so they'll find you in those
So
platforms.
my Instagram handle is DK Pareek, DKPAREEK. YouTube is goes with my name, Deepak Pareek, DEEPAKPAREEK. Every other handle is with DK Pareek. So you'll find me there. On Twitter it is DKPAREEK21, but on Instagram it is DKPAREEK. So if you like my content, feel free to follow. If you don't like my content, just tell me in my DMs why you don't like my content, and tell me where I can improve, and I will surely try and improve on that.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, sir, for being on Modernizing Biz podcast. It really means a lot, and I hope our listeners will get a tons and tons of value from this episode. So thank you so much.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much, Minesh, for having me, and thank you to all the listeners for being patient and listening till here. I'm sure you must have loved the conversation. If not, then please reach out to Minesh for any kind of if you feel that this could have been improved in a particular manner. Give him your feedback, and he will definitely improve. I'm sure of that. Thank you
Yeah,
so much for
sure.
listening till now, and stay safe, stay home, stay indoors. Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. Hey guys, it means the world to me that you stay till end. I hope you get some value out of this episode. Before going, make sure you do your bit by hitting the follow and subscribe button on whatever platform you're listening it on, whether it's Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Geo7 or Spotify. Thank you so much once again for tuning into Modernizing Biz podcast.